Jess Pegula makes it to her first Grand Slam semi-final at the US Open. She'll be facing Karolina Muchova, and on the other side we've got the other American, Emma Navarro. She's up against Sabalenka.
Well, where do we begin today? I guess I've got to start by saying my predictions for this US Open, particularly the second week, have not been very good. I put my hands up, I've called a lot of them wrong, and off the bat I just want to say I think I was extremely harsh on Jessica Pegula yesterday. Her statistics sort of the last few years are probably better than what I thought. I think I was putting a lot of emphasis on the fact that she's never reached this Grand Slam semi-final, and that's where usually she suffers and struggles to perform. But she managed to beat the world number one, Iga, 6-2, 6-4 straight sets. And Iga, I think, gave her a lot of opportunities and played a very ugly match. But Pegula was there, and she's beaten Iga now on several occasions recently.
Yeah, I thought it was a very, very impressive performance from Jess Pegula. She showed that she's really growing as a player, and she took the game to Iga. That was the difference. Iga can only play a game when the ball's in the middle of the court. The ball was never in the middle of the court. It was always at the baseline. Very hard hitting from Jess Pegula, and you can tell Iga's always out of sorts when she's playing on fast courts and she can't get inside the tennis court, and that's exactly what Jess Pegula did. I thought the first set was brilliant. That's just the start she wanted. She went to a 4-love lead, and it looked like, come on, just keep it going, Jess. If you can keep the momentum, then we won't have any troubles. The second set, little bit of a wobble in there. She was up a break, got broken back. You thought, oh no, is this going to be all falling apart now? But credit to her, she actually embraced the crowd and used them to get it over the line. And I thought it was a very, very solid performance. And to do it in straight sets against the world number one, even more impressive. She's turned the corner now, has Jess Pegula. And she had to thank the crowd. And she was like, finally, I've made it to a semi-final. We can stop talking about it. And now it looks like just Andrei Rublev on the men's side is the one who's left only in the quarters now.
Yeah, but looking at some statistics, we've got to be honest. The reason in which Jessica Pegula won the match so comfortably was because of Iga's unforced errors, and Vance sums it up nicely. 41 out of 65 of the points Jessica Pegula won, so that's 63% of the points were unforced errors from Iga.
Wow.
Certainly was helped out quite a bit. Do you have that tweet?
Yeah, just popping it up.
There we go. You can see, because Juan Ignacio was asking how can it be so easy to beat the world number one, and I think that did play a big factor.
Yeah, there was a lot going into the net from Iga, but I feel like these were forced to some degree as well. The unforced error count is, I don't know how much to believe it on certain matches, because when the ball's flying so fast, you expect most players to be able to just get it back into play all the time. But I think because Iga doesn't drop back and try to hit from further back in the court, it's always flying right at her feet, and she has to hit it a little bit earlier. And yeah, she doesn't adjust in time. And well, you saw there, 41, quite a lot. I thought that still, you can't take this away from Jess Pegula. I'm not going to put this down to a bad Iga performance. I'm going to put this down to Jess Pegula stepping up to the mark on the big occasion in front of her home crowd. There was something in the air, and it's like when you get one of those moments in time, like in America, where all of the Americans are playing well, everyone's going through, there's a great energy in the whole place. I felt it was just set in stone that Jess Pegula had to win that match last night. So that's the way I see it. I don't think Iga could have done anything about it.
Yeah, one thing which maybe both of us are guilty of, and that is with Jessica Pegula, is her performances against the top players. We often dismiss her chances in a lot of big matches. A lot of that being to do with the round she's playing. However, a one-on-one situation against these elite players, and what I mean by that is Iga, Sabalenka, Rybakina and Coco Gauff, she's actually pretty good. So her head-to-head against Iga is 4-6, Against Sabalenka, it's 2-5. Rybakina, she's leading 3-1. And Goff, she's leading 4-1, which may surprise some people. That gives an overall of 13 all. The tweet, by the way, is Vance, Ben, again.
No worries. I was just brought this other one up. I thought you were talking about this.
No, and she hits the ball as cleanly and as hard off the ground as anyone. She's improved her serve, and the explosive movement from her forehand corner was sublime today. It's not a bad record, and when you look at since 2023, she's actually got a lead in head-to-head against Iga. 3 wins with 2 losses, and I can't really think of many players on tour who have that.
No, most definitely. She definitely has one of those good records against Iga. I think that this is going to improve as well, that record. She's one of the only players who can sort of get inside the head of Iga, I think, on a tennis court, which not many other players can do. I saw some other statistics going around as well about Iga, and she doesn't seem to be performing much at the other slams other than Roland Garros. I mean, you look at the likes of Sabalenka, she seems to be able to make the semis of all of the slams, whereas Iga, is she becoming a bit of a one-trick pony and only really good at Roland Garros? Or she's won the US Open before, but it still wasn't convincing when she did it. It was a little bit like she has to struggle her way through the tournament a little bit to be able to do it. She's got the ability, but the other players, I feel, are much more solid on a hard court.
She still gained points at this US Open. She's got over 10,000 points in the rankings. No one's going to catch her at world number 1, so I don't think she's doing too bad.
Brilliant.
And we can't be too critical of her. 23 years old. She is definitely the best at Roland Garros, but still can go consistently deep in a lot of events. I think it was just a bad day in the office against Pegula.
Yeah, definitely it was. And Pegula with wins against world number 1. You can see here, defeated Iga, obviously, at this year's US Open. Sabalenka at the WTA finals. Iga at Montreal. United Cup against Iga. And before 2023, it was 0 wins, 4 losses. And since 2023, 4 wins, 1 loss. So she's definitely stepping up in the big matches. I absolutely think that this is to silence people like us that keep on giving her a hard time. And I'm happy that we don't have to give her as much of a hard time. We don't want to give players a hard time, as hard as it is to believe. I know there's a lot of people out there watching going, oh, look at you two. We're just like sending hate out into the world. No, we believe that she's that good, and we just get so disappointed. Similar to Rublev, another player, so good, disappoints on the big stage. Well, Jess Pegula's stepped up now, and we can stop saying that she can't make a semi-final. And she's going to be up against, in the semi-final, none other than Karolina Muchova, the big resurgence on the tour. She knocked out your girl Haddad Maia with ease, 6-1, 6-4. And this is going to be even tougher, I think, than Iga Swiatek for Jess Pegula. Muchova, somebody who does go deep in Grand Slams, despite not being the fittest person on the tour, it would seem. But you can see here from this graphic, she was just recovering from this wrist injury, and then she comes back on tour and goes deep in the slams again. It's just a bit insane.
Yeah, it's in between because she got to the semis at the US Open last year, then had wrist surgery, and now has got to the semi-final again. And if we just go back to this match, I can give some in-depth analysis to what happened because I watched the full match. And it was more than what the scoreline suggested. I've never seen a match like it. It was the weirdest match of the US Open to date. There was a period in the second set. So the first set was one-sided, easy, beat down, Muchova demolishing Haddad Maia. Second set was nothing of the sorts. And in fact, Muchova was having to hit big winners and stuff because she wasn't feeling physically fit. There was a clear problem with her. Her movement was compromised, and she was indicating to the trainer that she was going to need a medical timeout. She managed to somehow go up a break in that second set. She went up the break, and things were not going quite well. And we were still looking at it. And the commentary team were thinking, if this does go to 3, she's going to lose. Physically really struggling. All of a sudden, Haddad Maia, towards the back of the court, started breaking down. And she then called a medical timeout when you'd think it would have been Muchova. So you had a situation where both players were visibly upset. Muchova staying on the court, and Haddad Maia, breathing problems, looked like she was having a panic attack, completely went into her own and was suffering badly. I'll see if I can send you a tweet about some details. But I think
saw a picture of it, but yeah, that was all. I didn't really get to catch much of this match. I caught more of obviously Iga Pegula, but yeah, she did look in distress from what I could see. And yeah, going over to her box, I saw did look like she was struggling with something, but I'm unsure what.
Yeah, well, I think it could have just been the emotions of what's happening off the court. So I'll send you the story now. And after her last match, Bia revealed that her physio didn't travel to New York with her because his wife was about to give birth. One of the babies survived, the other did not. She was extremely close to her team and treats them like family. She said she was going to try her best to win for him and make him proud. She didn't get the win today, but she battled to the end in the midst of unthinkable tragedy. Her and her team have a lot to be proud of. I hope they find the strength they need to get through this heartbreak. That's a tweet which the Tennis Letter put out, and it sort of sums up what's going on. So my feeling is, because of these incidents off the court, which is very tragic, she was probably in the moment willing herself to win so much. It wasn't going her way, and I think the emotions got the better of her. I don't think the commentators were saying it might have been sickness or panic attack, and I think it could have been maybe some kind of panicky emotions because her breathing was bad, but a lot of it was probably caused with her trying to will herself to win so much, and it wasn't going her way. She then did resettle herself and played a little bit better, but Muchova at that stage didn't look like she had too much of an injury, and that's why I say it was such a strange match to watch. And I can't remember seeing one at the US Open like it, where I didn't know what was going to happen. There was one moment where the whole commentary team and everyone was convinced that Haddad Maia was going to win because we thought Muchova was going to just withdraw and pull out. So if you look at these, that's what I'm saying. So that's why it's good to watch the matches, guys. And apologies for not watching the Dimitrov one. I think we can both put our hands up yesterday.
Yeah, for sure.
Yesterday's episode. We didn't watch that match. We tried commenting on things in the match we didn't watch, and we've learnt from that, and we're not going to do that again for sure. This one, I did watch it all, and without seeing that information, then you'd, like you say, and you think she's going to do really well. I'm not so sure, and I really do fancy Pegula based off that. But you never know. It might be all okay.
Yeah, I'm impressed even more now with her mental strength to overcome adversity, if anything. Muchova, if anybody, has had to come back from a very serious injury. We've seen how it affected Dominic Thiem's career, coming back from wrist injuries, and me personally came back from one earlier this year as well. I can't say I came back to any sort of level, but yeah, it is a very debilitating one, and it takes a long time to recover, months of recovery from something like that. Hopefully Haddad Maia's okay. She goes back home, and yeah, just emotionally, she can now sort of grieve with her friends and stuff. It's just, that's very sad to hear that someone's having to deal with that, and it's spilled out onto the tennis court as well. So best wishes.
We don't know if that is exactly right. That's me speculating. I think that's what it could have been.
If that's happened, then just all you can do is send best wishes to her and her team and her physio and the physio's family, all of that. It's terrible news. I mean, it just puts everything into perspective. Like, tennis means nothing, really. We're in the whole long and short of things. But let's move on to the other the other semi-final. It is obviously going to be another American. It is Emma Navarro versus Sabalenka. We spoke about their matches already going through, and they've played each other twice before. It is 1-1 in the head-to-head, which is... that makes it more interesting, I think. I know you don't look into head-to-heads quite as much, but Sabalenka won the last match. They played twice this year, and that was at Roland Garros. The only hard-court match was won by Emma Navarro, and that was at Indian Wells. So another American win there on American soil.
Yeah, but nothing at a semi-final of a Grand Slam at the US Open. I wouldn't read into the head-to-head at all. I think this match is going to be played in the moment. We know the crowd are going to be against Sabalenka. That can cause a bit of unrest. Last year there was against her. She lost. She needs them on her side. She's not going to get it. Can she still overcome it with her big shots? Let's see. She can't afford to be crumbling mentally and taking pace off the ball. She needs to play her game, and her game is good enough to beat Emma Navarro. Are we going to see the best game? And that's where the prediction is going to come in. So let's go. Maybe we do a prediction because we spoke about this match yesterday. I think Sabalenka is going to win the match. I think it's going to be 3 sets. I think she's going to drop a set. Navarro's going to get one. The crowd are going to be up for it. But Saba's going to steady the ship and hit big and win comfortably in a 3rd set.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it has 3 sets written all over it, this one, for some reason. I just don't think it's going to be as straightforward as the Kim Win-Jeng one. The crowd are going to play a factor. And even though she's buying them all... was it a honey juice? I don't think that's going to prevent them from cheering for Emma Navarro. There's just something in the air, and I don't know what it is, but there's part of me feeling like we could see an All-American final. I don't know what it is, but things seem to be lining up a little bit. I think I'm going to go for an upset. I don't think I was going to pick it before, but it's completely on a whim, this. That I think that Sabalenka gets affected by the conditions of the crowd cheering so much for Navarro that she loses from a break-up in the 3rd set and falls apart, and Emma Navarro goes on to win. You sort of could say a bit like the Badoza one. I mean, the crowd helping her past Badoza and Badoza falling apart a bit, and I think it may happen again here. I'm going to go Navarro in 3.
Ooh, interesting. So moving on to the other match, Pegula versus Muchova.
Yes.
I think many people would have had it in their brackets, despite Pegula's high ranking. Don't think many people would have had Muchova, but she was fantastic last year. We know there's a player in there. She is a top 5 player, in my opinion, when she's physically fit. Is she going to be physically fit for this match? How's she going to be feeling? It's all these big questions. And with that, I don't think I can put her through into the final. I think she's going to end up losing to Jessica Pegula. And Pegula's going to make her first Slam final. For you, that would be an All-American one. But I think we'll see Sabalenka versus Pegula at the US Open final, and I'll have Pegula winning in 3 sets.
Yeah,
Muchova to take the first, and then Pegula to take the next 2.
I don't know, I think you've got in my head a little bit with this Muchova talk as well, with this whole injury, because now I'm thinking even more towards Jess Pegula now, and I think Jess Pegula's going to... I was just trying to find one while you were doing your thing, but that's it. Yeah, here we go. I've got one. No worries. There we go. We'll pop this one. You just
forgot. I saw you try.
I haven't forgot. Here we go. We'll have this one. I know I was trying, but I was trying to listen to you as well. I'm going to go for Pegula in 3 in this one. I think Muchova will come out and you win the first set, like you said, but I do think Pegula will come back, and with the help of the crowd, she'll make it, on my books, an All-American final.
Well, there we go. You've heard it from Game to Love. That is our predictions for the semi-final of the women's at the US Open. We'll be doing one for the men's very soon as well. The big news, Jannik Sinner beating Daniil Medvedev. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you later on for more US Open action.